Hello and welcome to this BuyBotPro video. So what I wanted to do was go through the competition analysis with you, which is a crucial part of your analysis overall, because you need to know what other sellers are basically doing on the listing to help give you an idea of things like what kinds of pricing they're setting their products at, how soon they're going to get their stuff to the customer to see if you can perhaps best them, and ultimately will help give you an idea of who's winning the buy box, who's more likely to win the buy box. And there's a bunch of things that we can basically find out from this competition analysis. So it's really important to look at whenever you do analyze. So it's presented to you in a table form, so it's really easy to read. Now, initially, you will see the top 10 sellers. And the reason why is because they're basically the ones that you want to pay attention to. It's the top 10 that you really need to be considerate of. Anyone past that sort of like 10 mark isn't really relevant, at least not as relevant as the top 10. So that's why you want to pay attention to the top 10. You can view more than just the first 10, but my advice to you is to basically just focus your efforts on looking at the top 10 as opposed to anything beyond that, but you can look at beyond that if you want to. So let's start off with these numbers right here. So obviously number 1 will typically be the person that has the buy box, though that's not always true. They typically are the person that has the buy box. Number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it's in order of the price basically, which will also contribute as to the likelihood of winning the buy box. So if Amazon haven't got it right here, it will probably be this seller right here just due to their price. Potentially the seller just after them. But it's really just down to Amazon. Now, you can see what type of seller they are by hovering over the number. So you can see what type of seller they are and who they are. And it's color coded. So you've got orange for Amazon, blue for Merchant Fulfilled Prime, grey for Merchant Fulfilled, and green for FBA. I'm going to talk to you a bit more about that Prime button in a moment. But after the numbers right here and what type of seller they are, you can see their stock level, the price that they're selling the item for. If you have a number that is bold, that means there is shipping as well. So if you hover over that, you can see the breakdown of the actual price of the item plus the shipping. So you can see that broken down. And then if you were to sell at any of these prices, this would be how much profit you'd make, the ROI you'd achieve. And these are kind of based on averages for specific profit and ROI. Always consult what you see in the details section. But to give you a rough idea, it uses generalized criteria to produce the profit and ROI figures that you see here. Again, please consult the details section if you want specific profit and ROI, which is what I recommend you do anyway, just so that way it's taken into account everything you want it to take into account. Now, what you can also do is see the estimated delivery date for if a customer was to buy from this seller and see how soon they can get that product to the customer. So, and sometimes you can get some ranges. So for example, where you have things like this, you can see that the estimated delivery date is anywhere between the 28th of November and the 2nd of December. So if you ordered from this person, today at the time of recording, it's the 18th. So to me, that seems like is quite a ways away. And obviously the soonest that someone can get it to the customer is the 21st of November. That is also assuming as well that they go for standard delivery. Now, this is crucial to know because if you can offer a quicker delivery, then people are going to be more likely to choose you. And it also means that your likelihood of winning the buy box goes up because you can get the item to the customer quicker. What you can also see is the amount of reviews that the seller has had. And if you hover over that, you can see the percentage of that is classed as positive feedback. So out of 7,941 reviews that this seller has had, only 65% of their feedback is positive. And again, it just helps you understand a bit more about what's taken into account for if that seller was to win the buy box. And part of that is account health, which a chunk of that consists of the reviews and positive feedback that one gets. So it's important knowledge all around. Now, at the bottom of this table, what you can do is see the total amount of stock that the top 10 sellers have got. the amount of prime sellers on the listing, and the amount of merchant fulfilled sellers. Now, if you are FBA, you might want to just consider the other prime sellers on the listing, because merchant fulfilled is not going to be your main competition. It's going to be other FBA sellers and perhaps merchant fulfilled prime, and of course Amazon. So if you just want to see all of the prime sellers, you can toggle on prime, and then it will show you just prime sellers. So if there was perhaps a seller that was below the top 10 table, they'll get brought up, and obviously if there were more prime sellers, they would fill these gaps that are right here, but there isn't, so we've only got 6. And what we can also do as well is toggle from between live and recent. Now, the difference between these two is that live, obviously we just have the top 10, but that is literal live data directly from Amazon at the point when you analyze. So it is up to date, it's fresh. So, you know, really good if you've got it on live. Now, if you want to see more than the top 10, you just need to tap recent. So if there are more than 10, it will show you more than 10. Now, the difference with this is that it's all cached data. So it's directly from Keeper, and it's updated hourly. So it seems that there's 13 sellers in total on this listing, and you can expect it to look like this. If it has stock to show, then it will show you stock. But Keeper don't necessarily keep and maintain a hold of that information, because even though it might be from an hour ago, it's still classed as old. And obviously it's not something you should take into account like 100%, because it is older data. It's not the most up to date, and you should have the most up to date information to work with. But if you are curious, you can switch to recent and see more than the top 10. And again, if you have things like this right here where it's 0 and there's nothing for like delivery or reviews, that's normal. That's just because Keeper aren't holding that information, so therefore they don't have any to give to BuyBotPro. But you can see a bit more about the sellers past the first 10, so you get an idea of their prices and so forth, and what type of seller they are. And also, again, what kind of profit you would achieve and ROI if you were to sell at the pricing that you see here. So it gives you a little insight into the grander scheme of things. And then a bonus thing that you can do with the competition analysis is you can quickly get to a seller's storefront, as opposed to doing it the normal way through Amazon, just by finding them on the listing here. You can just click on that seller's number, and then it will take you through to their store. And then the quick look feature and manual sourcing accelerator pop up to help you do a bit more in regards to your sourcing. So if you like doing the storefront stalking method, then this is going to be really great help to you. And you can see a bit more about the seller and the items that they're selling. So it gives you inspiration for items that you might want to sell yourself. Now, obviously, if you want to know a bit more about storefront stalking and using the features that are on here, then please feel free to consult the quick look video, the manual sourcing accelerator video, or even just the video I've done purely on storefront stalking. Other than that, that is how the competition analysis works. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you later.